So if you're just tuning in, I am working on a Bob Dylan inspired denim jacket, and this is the third one I'm making. So I'm actually making two at the same time. So I made this for the first time back in April, and it was a really nice and slow sewing project to work on. And now I'm working on jackets 2 and 3 and trying to do them both at the same time. So I'm working on the second flower at the front of the jacket, on the second jacket, and if I'm working on the right sleeves, and I'll work on the right sleeve of the other jacket after. So I'm just kind of going panel by panel, adding patchwork and embroidery features to this thrifted Levi's denim jacket. So they're both men's denim jackets, and I got the inspiration from my husband. He found a Reddit post of a denim jacket that was from a movie that Bob Dylan was in the late 1980s, and he wore it in that movie, and it was recently auctioned off and sold for $25,000. And Timothy Chalamet, who the actor who played Bob Dylan in the recent movie, he purchased it. So that's where the inspiration came from. And I've been upcycling denim jackets for a few years now, and when I saw this, I thought I would love to attempt making something similar, and so yeah, that's why I'm here now. So yeah, just doing hand embroidery at the moment. So I just take my time with it. I've been working on this for maybe 2 weeks or so, just on and off. And yeah, just kind of working on it when I have time. But it's a grey day here in Melbourne, so I thought might as well go live. And it's the first time actually going live, so I'm also practicing that as a first timer, and I'm just going to see how it goes. And I'll see if it's something that I want to do again. So far so good, with the help from my husband. But yeah, I mean, doing this on my own, I'm not quite sure. I've just got to get a bit of practice in, I think, and yeah. But I do like the idea, because sometimes I'm, working on a project, and I might be listening to an audiobook or some music or something, but live streaming is something else I could be doing to connect with people, and yeah, just it's worth a shot. So if you're tuning in, just let me know where you're tuning in from, and if you like to sew, if you are the type to watch these kind of crafty videos on the internet. And if you do like that, if you do like crafty things and sewing and all that, you can check out my channel. I've got a few different tutorials on there, and I just kind of share behind the scenes of what I'm working on. But yeah, let me know what you're up to today and what you think so far of this hand embroidered flower, if you can see it. So I've just kind of gone around to create a couple of petals, and now I'm going to add a little yellow spot for the center of the flower, and then I'll work on the stem. I've got my green here, I think, and yellow here. So yeah, I'll do the yellow part first and then I'll work on the stem. So I've just knotted this, made it worse. Okay, so I will cut a little piece of yellow now. So let me know if you embroider, because you know, I consider myself a beginner when it comes to embroidery. When I'm doing crafty projects and things, I try to keep it simple. And I just stick with my straight stitch and my back stitch, and sometimes a blanket stitch like you can see around the edge of this patch here, but it doesn't really go beyond that. Let me know if you find it easy, if it's something that you enjoy doing. So actually I do know how to do French knots. I could do that here, but I think I'm just going to do a couple of straight stitches next to each other and just see how it goes. So I'm working through the end of the pocket here, so there's quite a few layers to get through. So yeah, I just have to, it requires a little bit of strength to get the needle through sometimes, especially because it's denim as well. But I'm kind of just treating it like a paintbrush, so I just kind of do a few stitches until there's a section that's coloured in and it looks coloured enough, and then leave it at that really, just keep it simple. So this is a tough bit. So I still have a few more embroidery features to add to this jacket. So after this, I'll work on adding a few stitches to the edges of the pockets on both sides, and then I'll go up to the collar and I'm gonna create like a peace sign and like this flower kind of sunshine looking feature. You can see me making this for the first time on my YouTube channel. I have like a 3-part series on this jacket. So if you're interested in like how this jacket kind of comes to life from start to finish, you can check that out. It's a Bob Dylan jacket series. And yeah, you can see the peace sign that I created in that, and the little kind of flower that I put on the collars, on the edge of the collar. I had the peace sign on one side and a flower on the other side. So I think I'm going to leave this like that at this point, and then I'll work on the stem. But yeah, there's lots of embroidery features, and yeah, these are the bits that take the longest in the project. I think sewing on the patches not so long. Like, it depends. If I'm doing it by hand, it might take like 10 minutes or so, but if I'm doing it with my machine, it might just be a couple of minutes. But the sleeves on this jacket took the longest because I can't get the sleeves under my machine without, ripping the seams open, and I don't really want to do that, so I ended up just hand stitching all the patches on the sleeves of this jacket. So let me know in the comments if you like to upcycle clothing, or if you've refashioned an item before, like a denim jacket, or maybe something else in your wardrobe. Have you turned it into something new, given it a new life? Let me know if you like that sort of thing. I really like it. I really like working with what I've got and trying to minimize waste and just using what I have. And but upcycling and refashioning denim is just a lot of fun for me, so that's why I do a lot of that. But yeah, it's interesting, like wearing this stuff. I don't really wear like the refashioned denim items, but I love making them. So most of the things that I make, I will pop in my Etsy shop, or I'll give them away to friends and family. And yeah, I really enjoy making it, but wearing the items, I just find it to be a little bit I'm just not, I don't know, I'm just a little bit plain when it comes to wearing, when it comes to my wardrobe. I just kind of wear basics and nothing too bold, but it's a lot of fun just making this stuff and getting really creative with it and trying new techniques and things. So I recently purchased a free motion sewing foot for my machine, and I'm just learning how to use that, because maybe I can add some applique features to like my denim, and it might also speed up the process sometimes, like when I'm working on a project. It could help to attach some of the features a little bit easier, but yeah, we'll see where it takes me. But that just arrived the other day, so I'm just now learning how to work that. Now I'm going to come up and just kind of weave through the stitches that I've made. So this just kind of creates a tidy looking stem. But yeah, like I said, I'm not an expert when it comes to embroidery. I just do the best I can and work with the stitches that I know best, and then yeah, so there we go. I don't know if you can see that, but we've got a little red flower here, so that's similar to the one on the original Bob Dylan jacket. And yeah, I was just kind of going off the look of it, making it up as I go along. I don't know if this is actually the technique that the designer originally used, but I'm not trying to like copy the jacket. It's more just for inspiration, and my whole thing was just trying to I just wanted to make it and make my own version of it, and use what I had in my fabric stash and just have a bit of fun with it. So my flower is a little bit different to the original, but it's good. That's a good thing. So I've finished that. Now I'm just going to do like a little straight stitch kind of thing along the edge of the pocket here, and then I'll move on to the other pocket later and do some crisscross stitches, which I've done on the other jacket already. So just get my yellow again, might get a little bit more because I'm going to do a back stitch here, and a back stitch kind of chews up a bit more thread. Actually, no, it's not a back stitch, it's a straight stitch that I did, and then I just, similar to what I've done with the stem here, I did a straight stitch and then I just kind of weaved through the stitches to make it look a bit more bold. So I think that should be enough. Excuse the creaky floors. We have a very creaky house. And when we're moving around the room, it's quite loud. Okay, so I'm threading. So if you're the crafty type, let me know what you're making today or what you're working on. Okay, so now I'm going to bring this over a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. I don't know if this angle is the best. It might be better for me to turn it upside down. Okay. Yeah, I think that's easier. So just go in underneath the pocket, and then I'm just going to do a straight stitch. Oh no, I did do a back stitch on the other one, I just realised. Yeah, so basically I'm just doing a back stitch and then I'm going to weave through each stitch. Like I did here for the stem on the flower, just to kind of finish it off and make it look more like smooth, I guess, and a bit more bold. I don't know what the name of that stitch is, but you know, I try to just learn the technique and not really fuss about what it's called. Like I know straight stitch, back stitch, blanket stitch, the things that I use often. I know how to do French knots, but there are some stitches I wouldn't even know what they're called, but I might know how to do them. And I think that's okay. So I'm not quite sure what, I know I'm doing a back stitch now, but I'm not quite sure what the stitch is called when you kind of weave through the stitches after finishing it off, kind of thing. So today is the first day that I'm trying live stream, so I'll see if it's something I want to keep doing. It's just, I'm in the testing phase at the minute, so now that I'm quite consistent with my weekly YouTube videos, maybe a live stream here and there, maybe like once a week or once a fortnight or so, might be something to do just to shake it up a little bit and show you a bit more behind the scenes of what I'm working on, but you know, also just as a way to connect with other sewists and crafty people. So getting to the end here now, just do my last stitch and then I'll weave this thread through to the bottom. So I'm going to come up next to the last stitch that I made, just in the middle, and then I'm going to go under it and just keep going under each stitch. Kind of weaving it through like that, and then it just kind of creates a thicker, it covers up the gaps, not that there are any, but like where you kind of go back into the stitch for the back stitch, if that makes sense. This kind of covers up those little dints in the pattern, and then I guess it just makes it look a bit smoother. So going to keep going down to the bottom. Alrighty, and then just go underneath and finish that off with a knot. I think that should do it. And then for this jacket, like, I knot everything a few times, and then I also at the end will attach like a kind of like a adhesive fabric kind of thing, just to like seal off all the hand stitching that I've done, just to make sure that it doesn't unravel. But this is like definitely kind of like a costume item, so I would say it would need to be like spot cleaned. I don't see it as being something that could go into a washing machine or even dry cleaned, just because it's got a lot of different materials and a lot of it's done by hand. So yeah, I just kind of seal it off with some like embroidery kind of protector at the end, and then that should make sure everything stays in place as well. I just like it to be extra secure just in case. So that one's done, and now I'm going to work on a crisscross. On this side I had like aqua colour. I've got this aqua colour here, and I was doing like crosses as well as pink and white. So I think that's what I'll work on next. Yeah. Actually, before I do that, I might just add one of the patches that I've got to put here. I think I've got that ready to go. Yeah, I've actually got to hand stitch this patch on here, so I might just do that now. I haven't actually counted how many patches are on this jacket, but I keep finding patches that I've missed, so that kind of shows how much is happening. It's a very busy jacket, but yeah, I'm kind of just going off photos of my previous one, and because I no longer have it anymore, it actually sold, so that was great, but like lucky I took lots of photos because it's hard to kind of remember every patch that I've sewn on here, because there are just so many. So yeah, this one that I'm about to do now is almost going to be a patch that I missed, and it's kind of under the arm, so it's easy to miss it, but yeah, I think if I place it about there, I'll just put a pin in it. That should keep it in place. I'm going to move it around again so that I've got easy access. So I'm just going to do a straight stitch around the edge. I could probably get this one under my machine, but I think it's okay. I don't mind doing the odd hand stitched patch every now and then. So a lot of the patches I've just kind of sewn on and left the raw edges because the original design looked like it had been kind of done the same way, and it kind of makes it look a little bit more vintage looking, I guess, and a bit more worn in, you know. So I kind of like that look. It gives it a bit of character, and yeah, so that's another reason why I don't mind doing like a hand stitched patch every now and then. I mean, for the sleeves I had no choice because that was the only way I was going to get them attached, but but the look is quite effective too, so yeah, I'm not mad about it. I'm just gonna do a hand-stitched patch every now and then just to give it that personality. Okay, so that's that patch on, and the next thing I'm going to be doing is some cross stitches just across here. So I'll just take the, I don't know if that's going to be enough. I think I might give myself a little bit more. So I'll take the aqua colour again, thread that through. Okay, so just go here, start on the inside. So if you like to sew, or if you like to make things of any kind, let me know in the comments, like, what is a project that took you so long, like, you know, weeks even. For me, this was definitely one of those projects that doing it the first time took me at least a week to a week's worth of time, like 40 hours I'm talking, to get it finished. You know, is there something you've made yourself that took a long amount of time, and, you know, something that was really enjoyable and maybe even meditative, or kind of put you in that flow state? And let me know in the comments what that thing is for you, or if you had a project once upon a time that was that kind of experience. Another project that took me forever was just crocheting a blanket. It was just like a granny square blanket, or just one granny square, and I just kept going round and round and round till it was, you know, the size that I wanted, and that took me months. I remember it was just something I had to chip away at while I was watching TV, or you know, listening to books and podcasts and things. But yeah, it was a very slow project. I even took one on a plane once, and, you know, passed the time. It was a long haul flight from Australia to Europe, and I took the crochet blanket on the plane, and that was a really good place to do something like that, because, you know, you've got so much time up in the sky, you know, it's nice to work on something with your hands. So yeah, I think that's quite a big project, a crochet blanket. Yeah. So again, I'm not really doing anything fancy here, it's just crosses, but I don't know, it kind of just, it looks effective, you know. That's the thing about this kind of project, you know, you just add little decorative features here and there, and then that's what makes it unique, and you kind of, there's a lot to look at, you know, when you're looking at the finished product. It's quite interesting, like you can see all the different stitches and different features, and yeah, it just makes it unique and interesting. So, you know, I don't have to do anything too fancy. It's more about, yeah, where things are placed and how it all looks, you know, together. It's kind of like when you're making a patchwork blanket or something. You know, like the one piece of fabric on its own might not look that interesting, but when it's amongst a whole bunch of other different patterns and things, it looks more effective. So it's kind of like that, I guess. Seeing different pieces complement each other. Squeaky floors again. So if you're just tuning in, I'm working on a Bob Dylan inspired denim jacket. So I'm adding patches and embroidery features to a Levi's denim jacket. And it's inspired by a jacket that Bob Dylan wore in a 1980s film. And yeah, when I saw it, I just thought, wow, I would love to make something like that. So that's where the inspiration came from. And now I've made it once before, and at the moment I'm working on 2 jackets simultaneously. And yeah, just chipping away at it. It's just a slow sewing project. So let me know where you're tuning in from, and if you like to sew, if you've upcycled clothing before or refashioned clothing yourself. I'd love to know, yeah, if you like this kind of thing. So I'm working on the pocket at the moment, just adding some crisscross stitches to the edge of the pocket. So I've done the aqua colour, which might be a bit tricky to see from your end, but I'll be adding some pink and white as well alongside these stitches, just to make it pop a little bit. So I'm starting with the pink and just going in the middle between 2 crosses that I've already made, and I'm just gonna do another cross. So I think I'll skip every second gap and I'll leave that space for a white cross, but I'll put a pink cross in between every second one, just to create like a bit of a pattern. So if you haven't come across my channel before, you can see me create this Bob Dylan inspired jacket from start to finish on my channel. So the first time I made it was back in April, and I recorded a 3-part series of me making it. And this time around, I'm not so much recording the process, I'm just kind of choosing it as a project to test out the live stream here on YouTube. So I thought, because it's such a slow project, it might be a nice thing to share through live stream. But yeah, if you want to see it from start to finish and see how it all comes to life, you can watch the Bob Dylan inspired denim jacket on my YouTube channel, Sweet Smiling Soul. And if you like sewing, if you like crafty things, then yeah, it might be a place where you want to be, and you might want to subscribe. Okay, so now I'm going to add some white stitches, some white crosses just in between the gaps that I've got left on this section here. So let me know if you like embroidery, if you've done it before. I consider myself not really a beginner, but like I just kind of keep my stitches simple. I don't really do anything too fancy. I just stick with my straight stitch, my back stitch, a blanket stitch every now and then, and sometimes some French knots. And yeah, I don't really have anything too fancy going on when it comes to that kind of thing, but yeah, I do enjoy making like working on embroidery projects. And so this jacket's actually got a lot of hand stitched embroidery features. So once I've finished this section, I'm gonna be moving on to the collar, where I kind of create a peace sign on one side and like this flower on the other side, and I'm just kind of colouring in the fabric with my thread and just winging it, really. I don't have any kind of system, just kind of look at what's on the original jacket and then get inspiration from that, and then just try to create it in a way that I know how. And the first time around it looked quite effective and similar to the original jacket, but I wasn't really going for like an exact replica or anything. I was kind of just getting inspiration from the jacket and, you know, creating my own using whatever materials I had on hand that looked a little bit similar to the original, but not exact. So yeah, which I think was good because it made it my own, and like I was able to incorporate a lot of fabric patches that I've actually used in other projects of mine. So I just kind of use what's in my scrap box, and when I sew on a patch to the jacket it reminds me of another project that I've made in the past. And yeah, it just kind of has a lot of stories, my own personal stories built within the or sewn within the jacket. So yeah, I'm really happy that I was able to use this jacket as inspiration to create something unique. But yeah, let me know if you upcycle jackets or refashion denim in the comments. So thank you so much for tuning in today. I think I'm gonna call it a day now. I finished my last stitch, and yeah, tune in to Sweet Smiling Soul. Subscribe if you like sewing and crafty things, and yeah, I hope you come over and say hello. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.